All right, guys, so we're going to talk about insurance claims and how to get cheaper insurance. We get this question quite a lot, especially from new drivers, because insurance is so expensive and you're literally only paying for a piece of paper. If you're lucky enough not to have to use your insurance company because you never have an accident, you are literally just paying for them to send you an email once a year. So let's have a look at how to get the cheapest possible price, especially if you're a new driver. If you're a new driver, you're going to have the option to get black box insurance. Is it a good idea?
It's going to look really attractive to a new driver to have a black box fitted because the price difference might be quite significant.
Is it? It's going to look bad to them because someone's watching them drive, right?
But, okay, so when someone first passes their driving test, a lot of the time, yeah, they're excited to get out and drive by themselves,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's nobody there next to them helping them make decisions. And okay, yeah, they've passed their test, so they can drive independently by themselves, but some people just kind of get stuck in a rut and like kind of wish that somebody was still there to be able to assess their driving.
It can make you feel like someone's still watching and looking over you.
Yeah, so it monitors your acceleration, your braking, your speed and things like that. And if you are braking aggressively, accelerating harshly, not sticking to speed limits,
Driving like Laura.
if you're behaving in that way, it's going to affect your insurance and you're going to get points and you're going to get a score for that. And it's almost like it will encourage you to continue to drive to the road rules.
It will. But it can also be quite scary because you know that if you don't see a speed limit and you go over the speed limit by accident, your insurance company are going to be watching it. So it's not that harsh. Black boxes aren't that harsh. They average out and give you an average score. So if you brake sharply to avoid hitting a kid, that one sharp brake isn't going to ruin your whole price. They look at your overall picture of driving. If you brake sharply all the time, that's what's going to affect your price. How it works is it's got an accelerometer inside the black box. So it measures forces, acceleration forces or braking, yeah, like that, or braking forces. It also measures sideways speed. So the faster you go around corners, the more sideways vertical G's you're pulling in the car, and that will put your score down as well. What it also monitors is your GPS position. So it knows where you are, it knows what the speed limit should be for that road, and then it can tell whether you're speeding or not. Someone I know had a problem with this though, because it thought that they were on a side road next to a motorway, which was 20 miles an hour, but they were on the motorway. So the insurance company wrote to them and said, hey, you were doing 70 on a 20 road, and they weren't. So it can have its problems. It's not a perfect system, but it will significantly reduce your insurance price if you have a black box fitted, if you're a new young driver. For some of the information in this video, we've got to shout out RMRs. I put a call out for anyone to give insurance tips to bring people's insurance down, if anyone knows systems or things that you can do to bring your insurance down. Some of these tips are from him, and for that we thank you because they are gold.
Errors tip number 1. So there's 3 types of insurance policies that you can get. Fully comprehensive, third-party fire and theft, and third-party only. What do each of those cover?
Okay, third party only means that if you have an accident, the insurance company won't pay a penny to repair your car. They'll only pay to repair the other person's car that you crashed into. Third party fire and theft means they'll repair the other person's car, not yours if you have an accident, but they will help you if your car catches fire, which never happens, or if your car gets stolen. Comprehensive cover means they'll cover literally anything. If you crash into someone else, if someone else crashes into you, no matter what happens, they're going to help you out.
Okay, so automatically you'd assume that third-party policies would actually be cheaper, right? But in actual fact,
they'll spend less.
Thanks to ERA, we know now that that is not always correct.
It's usually never cheaper to get third party only. Even though the insurance is going to pay less for your accident, the cover that you're going to pay for the insurance isn't going to be cheaper, 9 times out of 10. And that's because the insurance companies use algorithms to work out who is going to be the most expensive person or who's going to have the most crashes. And imagine the kind of person that's going to get the kind of basic cover, the minimum level of cover needed to get legally on the roads. The kind of person who doesn't care about their car, the kind of person that's probably going to drive recklessly. Errors tip number 2, additional drivers. When you take out an insurance policy, you can add other people onto the policy as well. And that might make it sound like they're going to charge you more because more people can drive your car. You're getting a bigger product, but it's not always the case. If you have just passed your test and you're, say, 21 years old, and your mum's been driving for 20 years, if you add her as a secondary driver, that might actually bring your policy down because they know that you're sharing the car with someone responsible.
But you've got to watch out for that though. Say for example, you live in a household with more than one person with more driving experience than yourself. Try adding each of them alternatively onto the policy because there might be one specific person that may bring the policy down rather than the other person.
Yeah, or adding them all at the same time. The best thing is to use confused.com, compare the market. There are other insurance comparison websites. We're not being sponsored by them, but they're the best places to look for insurance because you can keep going back and changing your information to get different quote levels. So let's say you've got one person in your household who's got an automatic license and they've got 20 years experience, but they've had 20 different accidents. They're going to bring your price up. The other thing to think about is adding them individually. Add one person, add the next person, take the first one off, add 3 people, take first 2 off, and keep switching it up and chopping and changing to see which combination of additional drivers can make your insurance price the cheapest. The other thing with this is you have to be honest with your insurance company. You have to be honest. So what a lot of people do is they put their mum or dad as the main driver because that'll bring the price down more, and put you as the secondary driver. But if you're going to be driving the car the most, that's dishonest.
Same goes with addresses. So say for example you're a uni student and you spend more of your time at uni than you do at your home address, you would be advised to put down where you reside for most of the year as the permanent address.
Errors tip number 3 is about your mileage, and your mileage is going to affect your insurance quote a lot. Your mileage is how much you're expecting to drive throughout the year. Now, I haven't tried this, but I want you to try it and let us know in the comments how the mileage affects your insurance quote. Emma says that the sweet spot for mileage is 3,500 miles. Don't go too low. I don't know why. Maybe because it's not believable. The lowest amount you can put is 1,000. I know that for a fact.
But 3,500 doesn't sound like a lot either when you
Doesn't
think
sound like a
about
lot.
it over the course
in a
of
whole
a year.
Yeah. But again, we have to stress that you need to be honest with your insurance company about what you're going to be doing. It's really difficult to tell accurately how much you're going to drive, but estimated mileage is what they're after. So if you're going to be driving every day for 10 hours a day, obviously you can't put down 3,500 miles, but maybe there's some small license to be slightly creative with it by going up or down by 1,000.
Do you think your employment status or what you do as an occupation makes a difference to your insurance premium?
Oh, it does, yeah, definitely. Some jobs are way more expensive to insure.
Can you give some examples?
A priest, I'm gonna guess, is probably quite a cheap profession to insure. But if you're, I don't know, a driving instructor would probably be a cheap one to insure as well. But if you do something like a builder, or I'm trying to think of professions which have irresponsible people with them, a gambling addict.
What's a gambling addict
I don't
going to
know.
do?
I was thinking of the person who goes around and services fruit machines because you're always high pressure and you're going. Salesman is an expensive one because you're always under pressure and you're going around doing loads of driving.
Yeah, so I would say it depends on the frequency of how
I
often
think
you
you're
are
gambling
out on the
addict.
road.
That's not a profession. What the hell?
Gambling addict. Click the drop-down box and select gambling addict.
That's what I do for a living. You can be a little bit creative with your job title though, because let's say you are a site manager on a building site. This is the example I use for Riley. She's an apprentice site manager for Wilmot Dixon, the builders. So she could say she's an apprentice, she could say she's a builder, she could say she's a project manager, a site manager. All of them are true because she does those things, but she can play around with it a little bit to see which one actually gives her the cheapest insurance without being dishonest. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Because it's really important to stress that what we're not saying in this video is lie to your insurance company for cheaper insurance. We're saying play around with it because there are things you can do without lying to get cheaper insurance. What you can also think about if you're thinking about occupation is you'll have to put the details down of all of your named drivers. So if you've got your mum or dad underneath you on the policy too, which we just talked about, you can play about with their occupation as well. So if your mum is a baker in a bakery, you could say she's a shop assistant, you could say she's a baker, you could say she's something else, but still obviously be honest. I thought of baker because I'm hungry. Emma's next tip is avoid getting a new car. And that might make you think, what? But actually, if you get a new car, its price to insure might be a significant amount more expensive than a slightly older car. Why do you think that is?
When you apply for your policy, you have to put in the average valuation of your vehicle. And so if you've brought a brand new car or something brand new, it's going to be really expensive. So if you do need to claim on your policy, what you would be getting back from the insurance company is going to be a higher payout, which they're not going to want to do.
Even if it's just 1 year old, the value of that car is going to be so much less, which means that you're going to have a cheaper premium.
And as you're a new driver, if somebody is a new driver, you know, what's the likelihood of having a little knock here and there?
Yeah,
so if you do buy a brand new car, how sad are you going to feel if you actually did knock it?
Guys,
so
straight down the body shop.
So getting something kind of used, a little bit older, is definitely the recommendation. Wise choice might be to purchase a vehicle that isn't so common on the roads. You know, if you're a new driver and you're going out buying a Corsa or a Fiesta, you know, there's quite a large number of new drivers that also buy that vehicle. And the likelihood that people with those cars are claiming on policies might increase everybody's policy who has that particular vehicle. It happened to my cousin years and years and years ago. Had a Ford Fiesta Mark 1. We're going back like DEF Reg. Like none of this 18 plate, 19 plate, 20 plate. And she had had a policy for a good couple of years, and then suddenly her premium went up, because obviously with insurance each year your premium should come down. It should come down if you don't claim. And on her third year her policy had increased quite significantly, so she called them to try and understand why, and they said in that year there'd been a higher number of claims made by people who drive a Ford Fiesta.
Interesting.
So collectively, everybody who drove a Ford Fiesta
has to pay more.
Okay.
So, and this is where it comes back down to the algorithm again. The computer every single year is recalculating the likelihood of you having a crash based on the things that you tell it about you. So every single year it might not be a wise choice to just renew with the same policy. It might be worth actually logging on to confused.com again every single year, or Compare the Market or one of the others, to see if you changing your details can bring your price down, because it might be that builders have had a crap ton of crashes in the last year and next year you want to be a site manager. Final tip, thanks to Era for sending in all of these banging information tidbits so that we can help you guys. Rear-wheel drive or automatic cars are sometimes more expensive to insure. Sorry if you've got an automatic license because you didn't do a proper driving test, but that's just the way that the algorithms worked it out. So if you have a look, insuring an automatic 1 Series will probably be more expensive than insuring a manual A3, because also it doesn't like rear-wheel drive cars. 1 Series is a rear-wheel drive and your car's automatic, which means that you're going to be paying more than a manual A3 front-wheel drive car. So think about that as well when you're looking to purchase your car. Before we go, just want to say these tips won't work for everybody. You need to play around with it because insurance is a really, really, really complex game run by computers. It's all about the algorithms. You need to just play the algorithms. We all understand algorithms now. We've got TikTok and Instagram. You need to play them at their own game and give it the information that it wants to hear to make you the safest, cheapest driver. Try different things, especially the tips not related to the type of car you get. Give it information, different information about you, and see if you can get different prices. Like at the end of the day, all you're paying for is a piece of paper. Until you need to claim, it's just a piece of paper. And then even once you've claimed, every insurance is going to come and collect your car, fix it and drop it back. So there's no point paying more for insurance than you need to. Last thing to note, confused.com, compare the market. Are there any others?
Compare the market.
Insure and Go. There's loads of comparison websites. They will give you also different prices for the same information, because they get commissions from the insurance companies, and different insurance companies are going to be paying them different commissions. We're not sponsored by anyone, so we can say that.
Sometimes you get a free gift from them guys too.
Oh, compare the market, give out the meerkat dolls. Like, and I'm not going to pay way more insurance just to get a meerkat doll or 2-for-1 meals out. I'm going to get the cheapest quote possible. Last thing to say is that some companies aren't on compare the market or comparison websites like Churchill.
Yes. The thing is as well, once you've passed your driving test and you do get your own vehicle, it's exciting. You want to get out there, you want to get driving. So it is common that somebody might just buy the first policy that they look at. But take some time, designate some time aside and make sure that you really shop around, work with the information that we've just given you and try and find yourself a nice, good deal.
You don't even need a car to find insurance deals. You can just take a registration number off a car that's the same as what you want to get and put that in. You don't even need the registration numbers on some websites. You can just say I want a VW up and it's 2019, and it will give you the price that you would pay if you had bought that car. Shop around and have a go. Let us know in the comments how it went. I'm going to do the outro.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can get all our stuff in your
face.
See you later.
Peace. Check how much time it took to send that. What the fuck is...
It's fine, just leave it. You can message if you want.
Stupid
You don't need to
Peugeot.
vape now, you can